Today I'm going to explain why I'm leaving Manhattan after almost a decade here. Then I'm going to reveal where Adriana and I are moving, as well as a story behind the search. Watch till the end. This is a good one. Hey everyone, it's John coming to you from my tiny Greenwich Village apartment, and it feels weird to say, but at the end of this month, I am no longer going to be a resident of Manhattan or the Village, and we're gonna get to where we're moving in just a little bit. And I still remember that day so vividly 9 years ago when a bunch of friends from Jersey helped drive Alan, my twin brother, and I here to move into this apartment. When we had just turned 27, we were moving out of our parents' place and just full of excitement to live in Greenwich Village, which was our favorite neighborhood to hang out. We never thought we could actually get a place here. And I wore it as a badge of honor calling this neighborhood home. Everything was at my fingertips, and I still think this is an amazing neighborhood for people to move to who are young, single, new to Manhattan. But the person today in 2020 is not the same person I was in 2011, when I was willing to sacrifice everything just to live in a neighborhood like this one. Today, I'm 36 years old and quite frankly, tired of living in a 350 square foot apartment. I almost pulled the trigger last year in moving, but something held me back. I still felt too attached to the neighborhood here. I almost felt identified with it. And then COVID-19 hit. We spent months inside, barely venturing out. And it was then that I truly realized how important my living space actually was. To have good views, to have light, to have space, all things that have been sorely lacking in this apartment. I feel like I outgrew this space. We probably should have moved even a year or two ago. Now, some of you may ask, why don't you stay in the Village with prices dropping so much? And my answer is, for one, many of the apartments that are available are just a little bit bigger than this. Many of them, and I've been looking, have terrible views, poor lighting, and the other issue is I know how most of the landlords are. Yeah, I might get a good price this year, maybe even next year, but down the road, with New York City's popularity, I believe, likely to spike back up, what's gonna stop another housing bubble from occurring and the market to go up $500 and me to get a big surprise with my new rent in a year or two? I don't feel a need to be in the Village 24/7 like I used to. I mean, I'll say it again, I think this neighborhood is great for people in their 20s, early 30s, just moving to New York, especially if you're single. Everything is at your fingertips. But to get a really large space here, even today, it's gonna cost you probably about $3,500 to $4,000 a month. And it's just too much money to spend, in my opinion. And it's not like the neighborhood we're moving to doesn't have a lot going on either. And before we get to the announcement of where we're moving and why, I just released a free PDF guide to New York City for your first 24 hours visiting here. It's really cool. Check the link down below in the description to download it. Trust me, you're gonna like it. All right, drum roll. Next month, Adriana and I are gonna be new residents of Park Slope, Brooklyn. I actually got acquainted with Park Slope my first couple of years in New York as I had a good friend who was living there, but I actually used to make fun of him for it because he was single and I thought that it was an area just for married couples and families, and I really didn't give much thought to it until 2 years ago. As you may know, I have a neighborhood guide series on the channel. We've covered about 20 different neighborhoods, getting local perspectives on what to do when you visit them. And in November of 2018, I made a video with two friends of mine, Gabby and Shanna, who just happened to live in Park Slope. And it reacquainted me with this neighborhood in Brooklyn. I mean, I was really impressed this time around. Without even realizing it, there are ridiculously beautiful brownstones and buildings in every direction here. Like, this has got to be one of the most scenic areas in all of New York City. Absolutely blown away here. that planted the seed. And last year, I was thinking of making the move, but something held me back. I just couldn't leave that Greenwich Village bubble. I knew that this time around we were actually going to be moving, so we started an intense search a little over a week ago. In fact, our first day, we saw 6 apartments in 4 hours. There were some contenders, including one apartment which was located in a brownstone. But when I got to the front, I noticed a sign for a nursery on the ground floor. Now, I didn't think much of it because this apartment was 2 floors up on the 3rd floor. But anyone who knows about Park Slope probably would be laughing because there's nurseries everywhere. So we get to the apartment. It looks great. It's big. And then we walk to the bedrooms. And outside of the bedrooms, in the backyard, I saw a lot of kids' toys and kids' accessories. And then I remembered, wait a minute, there's a nursery school downstairs. What does the backyard sound like? Now, the broker was trying to play it off. He said, oh, you shouldn't hear too much. So we left the building and there was some neighbors on the steps and we asked them, what's it like having a nursery school outside? And they said, oh, it's not too bad. I mean, you hear rhymes sometimes when they're outside playing, but don't worry, from 12 to 3 p.m. every day is nap time, guaranteed to be quiet. All right, nothing against kids, but Adriana and I work from home, and I just thought it was too much of a risk having kids playing outside and hearing them, and I don't know how loud they were gonna be, so we decided to pass on that option. There was another place we saw which we fell in love with at first sight. In fact, I went to email the broker from the subway going back to Manhattan, send me an application, I'm interested, and something weird happened. This was his response. Attached is the application. Please fill out along with a proof of income bank statement, talking with your ideas. Also, there will be $120 application fee, refundable if management denied your application. Now, I know all the real estate tricks. About 1 year ago, a law was passed that application fees are not allowed anymore. You can only be charged $20 per person to do a credit check. And if you have your own credit score already, you don't even have to pay. So I thought to myself, all right, this guy's trying to pull a fast one on us. Why don't we correct him? The legal limit for an application fee in NYC is $20 and only for a credit check. Thank you. His response was classic. I just went because I got confused with your email and saw there was a mistake. I was using Siri, so it was a mistypo. Anyway, let me know if you guys want to proceed. The application has been sent. Blame it on Siri. Right. I made a decision there that if this guy was trying to get shady with us about application fees, what other surprises would we have in store with this apartment? So sadly, we had to pass on that one as well. This left us with the apartment we actually ended up signing a lease on. Now, it wasn't the biggest and it wasn't the cheapest, but the space was excellent, it had great light, and the location was amazing. And at about $2,500 a month, I think we're getting a good deal. To quote the Stones, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. And I think that's what happened here. I made a little teaser video for members of our Patreon to see what the apartment looks like unfurnished. Next month, early next month, I hope to have a final apartment tour with all of the furnishings and to show you why I think this is gonna be a good home for us for a while to come. In the end, I think everything worked out the way it was meant to. I'm excited to explore a new borough of Brooklyn. Truth be told, I'm only really well acquainted with the more touristy areas of the borough. I think I'm gonna become a more well-rounded New Yorker by living in a different borough, by exploring Brooklyn, and honestly, I think it's gonna make for some interesting content in the future to check out some areas that I probably wasn't too familiar with. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button down below and tell me in the comments, if you moved to New York City, would you only consider Manhattan? Why or why not? This just about concludes the mini apartment series that we had going on. I am going to show you, of course, the Park Slope apartment tour next month. So gear up for that. But we've got a lot of great content coming up in the meantime. As usual, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. Until next time.